Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd. And as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
A former summer camp caretaker, horribly burned from a prank gone wrong, lurks around an upstate New York summer camp, bent on killing the teenagers responsible for his disfigurement. That's right, we watched the 1981 film The Burning.
Ooh, The Burning, written by Harvey Weinstein. We noticed those credits right away.
You can definitely tell the...
This movie, straight off the bat, I just have to say, this movie makes no fucking sense. 0 cents was made during this film.
Okay. This movie makes sense today.
I will give you that it makes sense looking back at Harvey Weinstein's past, yes.
Okay.
But as far as the movie making any sorts of sense in any kind of coherent thought bubble, no.
This movie makes sense to me. This movie makes sense to me because I'm like, the whole time we're watching it, I'm like, oh, I could see him writing this right now, like just saying, "Okay, we're gonna have a scene where this."
Oh no, I have a whole thing with the quotes because some of these quotes, oh boy.
I think if this definitely didn't age well.
No,
we
not
know about
at all.
Old Harv now, so
there's
a lot.
Let's just jump into Cropsy. The whole Cropsy guy in itself doesn't make sense. He's an alcoholic who beats up kids at a summer camp, and he's allowed to just do that and be there and drink 2 bottles of alcohol a day.
But you're getting all of that information about the 2 bottles a day and all that shit from the campfire stories well after the fact.
Okay, fine.
We don't get anything
I can give
from
you
the
that.
beginning.
No, because you see bottles of liquor. Cropsy's little hut is a whole fire hazard in and of itself. So that was partially his fault.
Okay, fine.
You can't just have empty liquor bottles and a fucking thing of gasoline in your little bunk and expect it not to catch on fire.
What the hell was he planning on doing with the gasoline to begin with anyway?
To me that looked like it was the caretaker's shed that they also made him live in. All right? I'm totally like, I'm team Cropsy on this one, okay?
Not me.
So I will tell you why that I'm team Cropsy, but then old Harv changes some things around to benefit...
I'm team no one from this film.
Okay, but no, think about this. All right, he's a caretaker.
Except for Tiger. I was really looking out for Tiger in this whole film because I was like, please, Tiger. That 12-year-old needs to be protected. Someone protect that 12-year-old who is smoking and in very tiny shorts for some reason.
Tiger wasn't a good person, so...
You don't know.
I do know.
She could have just been written that way.
She's a 9-year-old smoking. And I'm like, what is this? Is this the set of kids right now?
Her and poor Holly Hunter. I'm like, no, just run away from Hollywood, you two.
She was so young. Okay. All right. No, I'm Team Cropsy, and here's why. All right. He's just a lowly janitor at some shitty summer camp for like entitled kids, and they make him sleep in the woodshed / caretaker shack. So I'm gonna get drunk too every night because that's my life, man.
That he beat up some other kid. Like you don't get
how much
is
that
to go around and beat up kids.
How much you think that is true though? It's like kid stories like, oh, he killed a kid one year. Like,
well, it's all
why
just
this isn't
just
camp
nothingness.
This isn't Camp Arawak where the creepy cook is like, hey, 12-year-old.
And then they all laugh about like, oh look, pedophile in the kitchen.
James Earl Jones' brother's like, oh, Billy.
That pedophile.
You and your sick pedophile jokes.
This is basically the same way for Cropsy, though, because they're all like, he's allowed to do this. So they're all like, oh, look at Cropsy over there.
Kids and they
beating up that shitty kid. Look at him go.
Maybe they were shitty kids. And he was like, these kids are going to turn out shitty if they don't get beat right now.
Well, Cropsy turned out shitty. Maybe somebody should have beat his ass.
You're looking at this from the complete wrong way. Cropsy got victimized. They lit the fucking skull on fire or whatever. He had an accident.
Light it on fire. They put 2 tea candles in that fucking skull with some worms on it. And Cropsy knocked his own shit over and lit his fire hazard of a hut down. Okay.
You get shit-faced drunk after a long day of dealing with bratty fucking kids that even their parents don't fucking want. Because, all right, first of all, who sends their kids to summer camp like that, huh? Either you're a super shitty kid or your parents fucking hate you for other reasons.
I was born in 1986. I was not around in the 80s when apparently summer camps were all the fucking rage where you just went to have random meetups and then you went back home. I wasn't around for those ages.
No, these were shitty kids, and this is why. So you got to deal with these shitty entitled kids all day.
You work at a summer camp. You know you're going to work with shitty fucking kids. Quit your job. Get a better job, Cropsy.
What if this is just a shit town and that's the best job you can get for this summer?
No excuse. You don't want to work with kids? Don't want to work with kids? Get a better job.
I'm side with Cropsy.
Nope. Anybody in this movie.
If that's the best job I can get all fucking summer as a 40, 50-year-old man or whatever the fuck he was, then yes, I'm drinking myself to slumber every night as
I
well.
actually wrote a note. I wrote a note that said this whole movie is just about how terrible all of these people are and every single one of them deserves to die.
Okay, but then you get free food, but it's fucking camp food. You know, it's like mac and cheese and fucking chicken nuggets for a whole fucking summer. I'm drinking every night too. I
stated my opinion. Everyone in this film deserves to die. I mean, the characters, not the actual people.
But the people that deserve to die the most don't even fucking die in this movie. Todd fucking lives.
No.
And little Alfred Harvey lives.
No. I call him, he was Alfred the Peeper, because, you know, it's a very regal.
That's why I'm like.
He's a very regal white boy, so it is Alfred the Peeper.
No, it's, to me, I'm like, this is autobiographical, Harvey. There's a lot of shit in this movie. I'm like, are you trying to.
Did you write this about yourself?
Were you crying for help when you wrote this thing? Because there's a lot of shit in here. I'm like, really, man? Like, oh, this didn't age well.
No, see, everyone in this movie, this whole movie is just about shit people. Even the doctors that were helping Cropsy, they're like, we know you're still mad and nothing took, but go on out into the world, Cropsy.
See, you're coming around to my side. That's what he was like, all right, I sat here.
I am on Paul's side.
I sat here for 5 years. And they're like, sorry, he's there for 5 fucking years. And they keep saying, we're going to give you skin grafts, and it didn't fucking take. So he just looks like a clumpy mess, okay? We'll get to the actual look of him later because there's a whole other thing with that.
I don't care. I'm telling you, this movie, no one of these characters deserves to live. All of these characters are shit.
They all deserve to die.
Cropsy included.
The caretaker at the hospital is an asshole.
Let's get into the fucking movie then.
Let's get into the movie.
I will show you. I will take you down the path of where Cropsy
goes up into flames, and then the first shot of we get him after him going up into flames is some orderly going, "Come look at this freak."
No, wait. Why are these kids? Why are these little white kids like, "What's up, Snoop and Billy"?
I don't know.
Who we don't know. We said he looked like Daniel Stern.
He did.
And there is no credit for him in the movie. And there's also no credit and no name in the actual credits of anyone named Billy.
Yes.
And Billy was the character where like, that kind of looks like Daniel Stern. And he would have been around 24 at the time. I looked it up. I did the fucking math on this. So he would have been around the age. Because there are people in this movie, like, obviously fucking Tiger is like 9 years old. And the guy that played Glazer was actually 29 years old.
Oh, I wrote, he's 35. What is he doing there?
Yeah, so he would have been well within the age range to actually play in this movie. So who knows?
Yeah.
If we ever meet him, we'll have to ask him, I guess. All right. So, yeah, we get to the fucking, we're at the hospital, right?
Yeah, like, and they're like, come look at this freak, this burn freak. And then...
Oh, I love the, it's like a Big Mac overdose, man. It's fucking nasty. You want to be a doctor? I seen some shit that'll turn you white, motherfucker.
The only thing that I could think of while watching this scene, and I was like, this is a classic example of a white man writing dialogue for a black man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, jive turkey.
That is exactly a Hollywood white boy writing black dialogue.
Oh, let's not get into the Hollywood white guy writing dialogue for some of the women in this fucking thing. Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get to you, Harv. No, but I thought it was funny because I'm like, he was like, you've never seen the nastiest shit like this. It was right this way, and it got me thinking like, hospital people talk. Like, this is just classic regular people that work at hospitals.
Yeah.
Because hospital people are regular people, too. So, they're just as gossipy. I called it hospital locker room talk because you have, like, that weird shit. So, I'm like, my whole point is, if you put stuff where it doesn't belong and you need to go to the hospital, those people are going to talk about you. When you have extra people coming and visiting you, they're going to talk to you. And also... they live in your fucking town. So when you randomly see them at the grocery store or some shit, yeah, they remember who you were with whatever you had where it shouldn't have been.
I'm so lost. What are you talking about?
I'm saying
get what Paul's
hospital
saying.
people are gossipy people. So it's like he's
They're
like, look
gonna
at this
talk.
burn people, right? Look at this burn victim. So I'm saying, like, if you put something in your body that doesn't belong in your
doesn't
body,
Are you
belong.
trying to do a horror PSA?
yes, in a place that it
Yes.
doesn't belong. Yes, horror PSA. Hospital
Keep
people,
things out of your anus,
Hospital.
kids.
I'm not even saying just. Okay, it's
It doesn't
beyond.
have to go in your butt.
It's gone way beyond anuses at this point. Some
Just
of the-
because it looks
the-
like it can fit in there,
the
it doesn't
whatever
mean it
shows-
has to fit in there.
wherever the shows
be
like sent me
surprised.
to the ER and all that stuff. Okay, so just don't put stuff that doesn't belong in your body.
Paul's
in
trying to
places
take
it
this
doesn't.
movie, this weird ass movie, into a different weird realm. And
I'm
it
just
doesn't-
saying. I'm just saying. Horror
This
PSA.
weird ass movie is weird enough on its own,
Horror
Paul.
PSA. Don't put it there because they will talk to you. They will talk about you when they see you in public.
So back to Cropsy.
They will
5
tell.
years
and as
later.
soon as they get home,
So back to Cropsy.
Yes.
5 years later, none of the skin grafts have taken. The doctor wheeling him out of the hospital is like,
it
I
was
know.
just an accident.
I
Don't
know you're
blame those
pissed at
boys.
those kids still, but don't worry about them. Like, what? Like,
Oh,
nobody's
they're-
like, he's really angry with these kids. Maybe we should get him some therapy.
You know, boys will be boys and
And
whatnot.
instead
You
of
know.
just leaving them out.
No,
And
but
you're a
Letting them
lowly.
it's time to live your life. Get the fuck out of the hospital. They wheel him out, and he finds a hooker and immediately murders her.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, we're
okay.
done with
No, that is okay. I got real maniac vibes when he's
Oh, yeah.
walking around the street and
Yeah.
all that and doing that.
The peep shows and everything.
And of course, he goes to a hooker first. The peep
Yeah.
shows I wrote down: Sweet Cherries and Sensual Fire. Those were two of the ones that I
That's all
saw.
right.
My notes on the hooker is the hooker took them back to her apartment. No, bitch,
Hooker
that
took
ain't
her.
safe.
You said hooker took her.
I did. The hooker took him back to her apartment, and I was like, no, you can't do that.
No, okay. That whole scene, I was like, she was like, "Are you coming in or what?"
I know. At first, I was like, is she drunk?
Yeah, she had to have been drunk. Like, I think she was pretty wasted. So
Yeah.
she was saying all that, and then it was kind of like he turned the lights off, and then when like the lightning hit or whatever, that's when she saw his face, and I was like, you don't look at like the John's face before you invite them back to your
Well,
own
see,
place.
again,
Like,
this is a dude writing for hookers.
You would- yeah,
you
I
think
would-
Harvey
yeah.
Weinstein was ever a sex worker? He doesn't know the in and
No.
outs. That's why they had
No.
this going up to her apartment. That's not safe. Sex workers don't do that.
No, it's not.
yeah, but it's kind of like what was it? He wanted the extra, or what was it? The ultimate.
The ultimate.
He wanted the ultimate, and she was like, I didn't even look at your fucking face.
No, I like when she's like, oh, you like low key, huh?
Oh yeah.
The low key lighting.
She comes back with a paper bag that she has for the occasion. It's like, how about
Well,
a
see,
little of this?
and at first I was like, okay, maybe he just picked up this chick in a bar or something. But then he was like, I have clients, and I was like, oh no, she's a hooker. But I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
does she get
She's
drunk
totally-
before
Yeah.
she hooked? Because that also doesn't seem safe.
No,
You
not
don't
at
know
all.
to say like, hurry up. Are we going to do this or what?
Yeah, she's like, I gotta make some money. I'm like, yeah,
Maybe it was the end
Like,
of the
I
night.
got all day.
get your dick out,
It
man.
was the
Let's
end
do
of
this.
maybe it was the end of the night, and she works a certain bar, so it's like, hey, buy me a drink, sailor. And then, but good ones are shouldn't they tell the bartender like all night long, just give me the non-alcoholic, blah blah blah. Or maybe she's an alcoholic and just
She could be an alcoholic.
Who knows? But yeah, so basically she sees his face and she's like, I'm not drunk enough to sleep with you. So
Yeah,
you need to
lightning
leave."
strikes.
Oh my god.
And then she's like, no,
Yeah.
no.
So all
You
okay,
need
well,
to
okay.
leave.
So here again is why Cropsy is the victim. All right. Got out of the fucking hospital. Got all these fucking hospital bills. So they're like, kids will be kids. Just, get over it. Move on with your life.
They burned all
He
your
goes,
body, but it's
he
okay.
goes and he's like, you know what? I've been fucking burned. I'm disfigured. I just want to go get laid, man. It's been 5 fucking years I've been in that hospital bed. I just want to go get laid. And the one hooker that he finds that's willing to give him the ultimate, she sees his face and freaks out on him. So, yeah. So I'm sorry if he's a little ragey and murdery
No.
at that point.
See, you're just trying
No.
to think like Harvey. See,
No.
that's what this is because you're supposed to feel sorry for him, but you're not.
No, all I'm saying.
He immediately went to kill that bitch.
No,
he didn't go to get a
no.
nut. He wanted to
He
kill a
wanted to
bitch.
get
Okay.
laid. He wanted to get laid, and then
Nope.
she rebuffed him or rebuked him, and he was
She tries to kick it out.
He was like, all right, 5. Imagine not having
Nope.
an orgasm for 5 years.
I don't care. You got a hand.
And then
Cropsy's got
it's
hands.
been burned, man.
So is his dick then.
So, okay, so you think just 5 years of yourself, you're going to be like, I'm fine.
Yeah, it falls off.
No.
Maybe it fell off. You don't even know if he still has a dick. You don't know. I'm not feeling sorry for Cropsy.
All right,
So you can suck my ass.
Then you're feeling sorry for the wrong people, and you're being the Harvey.
Who am I feeling sorry for?
Yeah.
I've already explained that I don't feel sorry or want any of these characters to live.
You said
they all
you said
need to
except
die.
for Tiger, and I want a Tiger to die first.
Why? Because they
Just
kept
because
saying
I
her
was
name.
tired of hearing him. Tiger. Where's fucking? Stop it, Tiger! Don't do that, Tiger.
They
You
were real worried
such a
about
stupid
her.
bitch, Tiger. Like, oh, here, have a cigarette, Tiger. That'll calm her the fuck down.
Let's talk
That's where they
about
went with
sex. And Tiger at one point's like, what do you mean? Because she's
She's like-
12 and doesn't know what sex is.
What do you mean? Wait, you put that where? Like, she's just smoking the whole fucking. Her and Holly Hunter were just fucking pounding camels, and the chicks. Oh wait, no, we got to go back to the.
I have to say, and I know it sounds like we're just jumping around, but
We are jumping.
we aren't jumping around. There's no
We are.
transitions in this film. There are no
No.
adequate story
No.
transitions within this film. So it just goes from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next.
All right, well, let's go into our first foray into Camp Stonewater. Is the camp that they're at?
See, and that's
today.
another thing. Is they
It
don't
doesn't
even
make sense.
explain it. They don't tell us
Okay.
that it's a camp nearby. They don't tell us that it's
Yeah,
the
you don't-
like old camp. They
You
tell
don't
us
know,
nothing.
You don't know that it's a camp until it's a camp nearby the original camp, which was what was that camp?
Camp
Blackwater,
Stone
Black,
something.
Blackfoot,
Blackfoot.
Camp Blackfoot,
And then
Yeah,
it's
'cause
Stone Black or something
that's
now.
Stonewater.
Stonewater.
I just said Camp Stonewater.
Camp Stonewater. And you just get that it's
And then-
Camp
okay.
Stonewater by
Card.
a title card. Yes.
So Camp Stonewater, and immediately they're these fucking kids ranging, like I said, from 9 years old from Tiger to 29 years old to Glazer, and Glazer was actually a year older than the guy that played Todd in the fucking movie.
He seemed like
Yeah,
it.
Glazer
He
was
did.
Glazer was 29. The guy that played Todd was 28. All right, so
Oh my god.
we get there and they're playing softball, and I don't know, like maybe it's
In
just
the
not me.
tiniest clothes ever imagined. In the 70s and 80s, there
Yeah.
had just had to have been so many lip slips with girls running around playing sports in bathing suits. Like, vaginas don't stay in one place all day.
Lip slips or lab flaps.
Both. Lab slaps.
Lab flap.
Lab slaps, ass cheeks of flapping in the wind, everything just slapping around.
Oh, you say ass cheeks flapping in the wind. I'm like blood rage.
yes,
We're gonna see
exactly.
That's
Yes,
what's going.
there had
Yeah,
to
but
have been lip
everybody-
slips.
Dude, but everybody was just naked back then anyway. If you
Camel
believe any fucking
toe.
movie, like every fucking movie. Okay, and is anyone really naked? Because later, as we see when Eddie and the other chick, there's muff. Like, you're never really naked with that much muff. It was dark, and I was like, holy muff. You could still see that.
Well, do you
So-
remember those 70s shorts? I always thought with the guys,
Yeah.
because guys wore tiny little 70s shorts in the 70s.
the guys' shorts or the chick short? Like
The guys' shorts. Not talking about this
okay,
movie specifically,
but
but like
the guys' shorts and the girls, like, so it was like the nut cutters or the muff cutters.
Yes,
basically.
exactly.
Like, those
Just-
were what they were.
just
back
some
then.
sort of camel toe or
Yeah, because
Moose
even
knuckle.
when
exactly moose knuckle, whatever.
even when Glazer swims over, he's like, "Hey, you guys look like
in his tiny
mermaids."
little shorts.
And I'm like, "Put your dick away, Glazer, Jesus! You're 45
If you're
years old."
swimming around in your underwear, put something on.
And you can, again, back to men writing for women. Anytime you see these women, they're in a group.
It's a support group because they're like, "I don't know what to do. He
Yeah.
scares the shit
and
out
they
of me. Don't
laugh.
leave me alone with
they
him."
just laugh nervously. I'm like, this has just been Harvey's experience with women.
He's
They're
like, "This
just,
is how women
oh my
act."
god, oh my god, he's back. Just laugh nervously, so he leaves.
This is just how women act, right? Yeah, we get to the softball game first, and then that's when we hear Tiger 150 fucking times when she's looking for the softball.
Yes.
And even then they're like, "Just leave it, you stupid piece of shit. Just get back. God damn it, Tiger.
Get back here.
I was waiting for her to die in that scene because everything was set up for her to die and she gets away. Like, damn it.
There, that was one of the things where I was just like, she would hear him. There's no way.
Yeah.
You don't hear someone in the fucking woods. Have you ever been in the woods? Like,
You know, and okay, so the whole time it's Cropsy's vision is impaired because of his disfigurement.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how the fuck is this motherfucker sneaking up on anyone in the forest if you can't see?
If he can't see.
And like you are like
Exactly.
And like maybe that's the problem. Like you didn't see the parts where he was walking up, like he was gonna kill Tiger, and then like he ran into a branch or something, and like poof.
It could have been a whole comedy movie.
Yeah, the other side of Cropsy. Like,
There
He's
are
just bubbling around everywhere.
apart from
it's a whole Tucker and Dale version.
It is.
So.
Yeah.
So we've talked about some of the lines, and here we get some of the most cringiest lines. And I wrote one specifically down because it goes from they're playing baseball or softball or something right to a mess hall scene, and they're sitting around talking. So they're at the scene where they're in the mess hall. Karen is talking to Michelle, and she's like, "Sometimes I'm scared of him." And she's like, well, why don't you just tell him no? And she's like, well, but I like him. And I was like, bitch, no. This is some straight man wrote this shit. It's the most cringy thing that I think I'd ever seen. I'm so scared. I even told the head counselor about how scared I am of him. But I kind of like... No, that's not reality. Nobody does that.
I don't even know if I want to go on the overnight. Well, just go and you can always come back.
No.
Like, no, that to me, that was
Yeah.
like the Harv like... Yes. Like, I wrote down, I'm like, yeah, just go and you can come back and just get on with it then, right?
Yeah.
Those lines, I'm like, fucking, like, Harvey was grooming from the beginning, man.
There's
like,
so many things at the camp scene. Okay, apart from this movie making no sense, there's some of the most unrealistic camp experiences here. Like, that bitch walks into the shower, turns it on, and hops right in. Have you ever been to a camp shower and just hopped right the fuck in? Like, you ain't getting it.
I've never been to camp.
You know, like, wouldn't it still be fucking cold?
Yes.
Like, even if it's the summer, like, it's still going to be cold
Yes,
there.
it's
like,
going to be freezing. That's groundwater. Like,
I
that
was like,
shit
what is
isn't warm.
I don't even mean just the water. I mean, like, outside. Because those showers were
Yes.
fucking, like...
Just
like,
in the fucking wilderness,
outside,
yes.
like migrant farmer camp showers outside. Like, who the fuck pays for that? Like, in fact, why do you crazy ass people send your kids to shit like this and
I
pay
have no clue.
thousands of fucking dollars for this?
I was not loved that much,
Oh.
so.
The reason why it's white people stuff.
I don't get it, man, because it's like...
It's white
Hey.
people stuff.
I wasn't
Well, no,
that
it's like-
kind of white,
it's
so
like,
I can't answer that
How much
question.
do your parents fucking hate you, or how shitty of a kid are you that they send you to camp all fucking summer, right? It's like, well, we don't want to deal with
Mm-hmm. We
your
don't want to
ass.
see you. Go to camp for all summer.
I really think Glazer, I'm
Oh.
like, you, like, this is some sort of, like, probation thing for Glazer. Like, I didn't do nothing.
It's to go do community service at the camp.
It's like, yep. All right, Glazer.
Did,
This is your
did
last
any of you guys
chance.
pick up on did any of you guys pick up on who Michelle was and what she's been in before? Because I noticed it like right off the top.
yeah.
Like I know
Yeah.
I know her from somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Who, Angie?
I don't know what she's been in, but I've seen her before in everything.
Oh, she was a reporter that snuck into the fucking Kumite.
Yes, she was in
She
Bloodsport.
was in Bloodsport with Van Damme.
Oh.
With Van
Get
Damme.
me into the Kumite.
Because
That's
I saw
her.
face,
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
where do I
Michelle.
know her from? Yeah, I was like, where do I know her from? And then when I looked up the IMDb, I'm like, I know who she is. And I'm like, she was in Kumite. She's like, she was in the Kumite.
If I let you in here, will you let me into the Kumite?
Yeah.
No. But we
Well,
still do
in
it.
this unrealistic shower that Sally is taking, she is spied upon by Alfred the Peeper,
Young Harf.
who was just trying to scare
No, okay.
her.
Yeah. So, no,
I don't
in
think he
the
was trying to scare her.
in the cabin scene, you see the girl sleeping, and so we follow Sally to go out to the shower first, right? There's
Yeah.
a scene where Karen's sleeping or whatever, and no, not Karen, Michelle. Michelle's sleeping, and it's just like the fly that falls on her face, like, and I was like, oh my god! Like, and she
Yeah.
had to like swat it while still pretending to be asleep, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so gross. And okay, not specifically the women's cabin, but both cabins, those fucking, like, they stunk.
I don't even want to think about the smells.
It's all, everything's damp, and yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, so Alfred's
And yet you pay for that, right? You
Yeah,
for
you
all
pay
that.
for that.
Yeah, and you pay
You will
for
pay
that.
for that.
Okay, so yeah,
Which is
we get creepy Harvey coming up to the showers.
AKA Alfred.
And, that's what I said. Yeah, Harvey, Alfred. Yeah, we get Alfred sneaking up to the showers, and I love how it's like she's in the shower and like she runs into the other girl. Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. She runs into another girl. She's like, "Oh, Evan was there last night." She's like, "Oh my god," and like walks away or something like that. I don't know if it was Evan, but it was something like that. Like,
Yeah.
The one thing
she
that
has
I
a
picked
quick
up on when
exchange. Go ahead.
Here's the one thing that I picked up on the shower thing. I don't know if you saw. How the hell did she get shampoo in her hair all of a sudden? Like, you do this one little weird cut, where she has no shampoo, and then the next cut you see is she's got a whole bunch of shampoo.
Oh, there were a lot of cuts that I think were like they didn't make sense.
Like,
I really think like they had a bunch of unused footage and they had to like piece together some other shit. Because I mean, this was literally his first fucking movie. Like, Weinstein, and he wrote it with two other guys, and one of the guys that he wrote it with is actually the director as well. And I'm pretty sure like this was all their first fucking movie.
Well,
it seemed like it.
Yeah, you can tell.
Because the way it was cut, it didn't even make any sense. Because what is it? Alfred barely made any noise when he went inside the shower, and I was like, how is she going to get scared by just something that she might think is just here in the wind?
No, and so she comes out. They come running out, and everybody comes running over to the shower because they hear her scream. And then he's like, she's like, he stood there staring at me and wouldn't leave. Like, what? So he just stood there while you screamed at him, just staring at your naked body. Like, what?
Yeah. So
what the fuck?
Yeah. So before that, it's like she hears the noise, right? And you're seeing her shower a little bit. She hears the noise and like she kind of looks around for a little bit. And then I wrote down, I'm like, Harvey wrote this fucking scene, right? Because I'm like, okay, now let's have a nice long shot of the shower before we pull back and you see her little boobies, right? Because then that's exactly what they do. Like they pull back and it shows her boobs, and I'm like, that we didn't have to see her boobs. Like it was already established she was in the shower. And then and then Alfred,
Alfred the Peeper.
Alfred comes along.
Say it like a vampire. It helps.
Alfred the Peeper.
See?
Why?
Because it's regal, but it's gross at the same time.
It's not that I forget Harvey the Peeper. Yeah, I only meant to scare her. And that's where we catch up to where you're talking about, like, right? Mm-hmm. I only meant to scare her. And I'm like,
he didn't want to scare her. He was peeping. You see that.
Like he was and that's not a peep if you just stand and stare. That's a full-on, that's a gaze, okay? You gazed upon the mountains and the valleys.
That dude is a voyeur.
Again,
that dude is a voyeur.
And then the counselor comes, and the girl counselor's like, he's a sexual deviant. And immediately the boy counselor's like, he's just a kid.
Did you do that? Well, yeah. Yeah, because when she asked him, she's like, okay, I only meant to scare her. And then he's like, he's just a kid. Kids do that. And then when Michelle was like to Todd, like, did you do that? And he's like,
yeah, he just looks away.
Like he has that pause, and I'm like, is that because you did and you know that you shouldn't say that? Or is it because you didn't and you're like, all right, well, she's got a point, but I can't let her win this one. So I'll straighten him out, is what his reply was. Like, camp straighten me out, after I almost killed a guy.
So
he has
goes
a real like
to
military feel about camp, I feel.
Yeah, and so Todd goes to have his little you will come from a good family talk with Alfred.
Yeah.
And
Alfred.
Yeah, and it says Alfred responds with, well, everybody makes fun of me.
Yeah.
That bitch didn't make fun of you. You don't get to go peep at naked people just because somebody made fun of you, bitch. Like
No.
They're going to make fun of you more so now.
Yeah, they're like, well, Glazer makes fun of me, so I went and saw Sarah naked, or what was her fucking name?
Sally. It doesn't matter. Stop trying to remember the names.
There's too many fucking names. They're all the same.
Yeah.
It was Snoop. Snoop did it, motherfucker.
It was Snoop and Tiger,
Snoop
and that were
Billy.
the only people, and Alfred the Peeper, and that was
Where
it.
the hell was Snoop? I saw that name in the credits. I'm like,
he was one of the kids in the beginning.
Yeah, it was one of the kids in the beginning.
He was with Snoop and Billy and Rocket and Squee and what was the other fucking, who cares, right?
They had some weird ass fucking names.
They had some weird ass fucking scenes. None of this movie makes sense.
Featuring future U.S. federal judges.
Before we go any further, we got to talk about two people too that were in this movie. And I texted Paul on one of them. One of the characters, Dave, who's played by Jason Alexander, had fucking hair.
He did. Yes.
He had like a full head of hair, which is.
It was very unusual to see Jason Alexander with hair.
And he's like the same character in every fucking movie he is. Every character he plays, a movie, show, whatever, he's the same guy. Like, it's always just him.
Yeah.
But Woodstock, the guy who plays Woodstock, is every guy. He's been an Indian guy once or twice.
Yeah. Well, at least 2 times I can think of.
When Kim pointed out who he was, and then I started thinking about it, I'm like, that's where he's from, because she said his name. I'm like, because she said, is that Fisher Stevens? I'm like, I don't know. So I looked him up. I'm like, it is him. And then I looked up his filmography, and I'm like, I know him from fucking Super Mario Brothers.
Well, I'm talking about Short Circuit, man.
Yeah, Short Circuit.
And Short Circuit, but I know
he was actually probably one of the younger ones. I didn't look everyone up, but he was 18 at the time in this movie.
And he's about 65 pounds soaking wet.
He was actually 18
tiny.
at this time.
Yeah, because once Kim pointed that out, I'm like, okay, I see him now. Because before, I'm like, I didn't think much of it, but when she said, I know that guy, and then when she said his name, I'm like, okay, now that's all I see. It's like, all I see is Fisher Stevens. That's all I see now. It's like, I didn't see Woodstock anymore. I saw Short Circuit dude, and I saw, whatchamacallit, Super Mario Brother dude, and I'm like, that's it. He's like, I can't. He's like, that's all I see.
So, yeah, after they have their talk about everything, he's like, look, just straighten out, or otherwise I'll have to send you home. And he's, had the whole talk or whatever. And I feel like Todd's like, I got sent home once.
And he fails to mention that he almost murdered somebody.
I'm like, motherfucker, you got sent home? You should have been charged with a crime. Like, you almost killed a fucking guy. I got sent home.
Oh,
the worst summer of my life. I got sent home from camp after we must fucking killed a guy.
I was just playing a prank, like kids do.
Everybody sets the caretaker of the camp on fire once in a while.
This movie makes no fucking sense.
He got out. He's not trying to kill us, so no harm done.
Because the first part of this movie feels so disconnected from the second part of the movie, and there's a lull in the middle of this movie that makes it feel like the movie is more about like how these campers are actual sexual deviants versus like it's actually a slasher movie. You don't get to any real slashing until the very end.
Well, here's the thing: up until the raft scene. What, he killed the hooker. He killed the hooker, and then he killed one of the camp kids. I forget which one.
Had he at that point?
Yeah, he had killed two. Before they get to the raft scene, he had killed two of them. But they didn't find the other one. I was thinking, okay, maybe eventually they're going to find them. So at that point, I was a little disappointed because they're like, okay, there's only two kills. Yeah, they've been a little bit bloody and gory, but I'm like, when is he going to start killing all these fucking kids? Because at this point, I was on Angie's side where like all these people need to fucking die. They're all horrible, shitty people. They all need to die.
Yeah, so it takes way long for him to get to slashing. And I love Shudder, but this under Slashix, I'm like, meh. I hadn't seen this movie before this.
It's probably Slashic because it's, it's 80. I mean, it is Savini and it is the 80s, but there's some issues with it. So
there's some issues.
Okay, I mean with Savini's contribution to this, there were some issues with. That's what I mean on that part. So specifically that part.
This movie, guys. Yeah. I don't know, any movie that has a canoeing banjo montage just really ain't my jam.
Oh, we're not even there yet. Don't jump ahead.
Here's the funny thing: in the beginning of it, when they were showing like all the title cards that they were showing. They had a credit for bluegrass music, and I looked at Kim and I'm like, are you serious?
They did, yes, I saw that.
Like, there's bluegrass in this movie. I'm like, where? Because this is either going to make it or break it for me because it's either going to make it really campy and cheesy or it's going to make it something else that I'm like, I thought it was funny that they had that at the beginning title card, that they went out of their way to say bluegrass music provided by, I forget who the name of the person was, but I thought,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Woo! The canoe hoedown.
But yeah, you get this weird lull in the middle where you're supposed to want to care about or you're supposed to feel about these campers in a certain way. Like you're supposed to connect with them, but they don't give you enough to set up with it. They're just terrible people.
They're just all American teens looking to have sex. And
I'm sorry, but Jason Alexander with hair just makes me think of the guy he was in Pretty Woman, and he was a creep then too. So no.
Yeah. So basically, anytime Jason Alexander has hair, he's a creep.
Yes.
Right? So, sorry.
Well, he had hair in Shallow Hal, too, and he was a super creep in that.
He was. He had a fucking
that wasn't
tail.
Real hair. It wasn't real hair. Wait, did he have real hair in Pretty Woman or no?
I don't remember.
No.
He may have.
Or at least had more than we remember him.
Definitely. And I'm totally assuming that in The Burning it was real hair. But, anytime he has real hair, he seems like a creep then. We should research that.
Well, it seemed like through the 80s he had real hair. Most of the 90s he was bald. And
this was, I don't know for him for sure. I'm pretty sure it was, but I know for Holly Hunter for sure this is her first movie. And I think I heard this was his first. Okay, was for sure his first. I think it was for him, the guy that played Eddie, that I forget his name. I'm pretty sure Fisher Stevens is his first movie as well.
Yeah, that was his first one too.
So
there was a bunch of people whose first movie this was.
You gotta start somewhere by being the creep with full head of hair.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me, like, just how you see with a lot of these well-known actors now is it's almost always a horror movie that they gets their foot in the door as far as Hollywood.
Well, especially back in the day, horror was so cheap and quick to do, and it was a huge return on investment, and it still is. Horror is quick and cheap to make, and it brings in so much money because it provides so many thrills.
But it doesn't mean you don't have to do it right.
Right? You have to give us some sort of coherent storytelling, and there's nothing.
All right, so we burn a guy, and then he comes back, and everyone has sex, and we show boobs, and the young boy that was trying to he just wanted to look at boobs. All right, he's the hero at the end.
He's the hero.
Yeah, let's make this movie. All right, Harv, I got a few issues with this, but I guess we could work with that.
So some of the older campers...
Come on, my mom will help. She was a producer, actually.
She was.
She was.
So some of the older campers go on their canoeing banjo montage down the river to something called Devil's Creek. The counselors give them, don't get pregnant. This is America. Your parents are far away. Talk, blah, blah, blah.
We need at least one good swimmer in the canoe because we don't have life jackets.
Nope.
And, you're kind of on your own, kids.
When they're going down the river in their banjo montage, right? I'm like, they don't
have canoe hoedown.
Yes. I'm like, they don't really have a lot of supplies with them. And then later on, you see that they don't. Like, they're just fucking sleeping on the ground. And I was like, this is how you get ticks. Like, that guy was sleeping with no shirt on, just in the open with trees. And this is how you get a tick. It's like a deer tick.
One of the things they did in their little canoe montage, is they sank one of the other fucking boats.
That was Holly Hunters.
Are you kidding me?
That was Holly Hunters. Yeah. She was the one that sank.
Yep.
Like, they sank their boat. Like, really? They told you
like
to
in the
behave,
piano.
and they said, they told them, behave and bring me back my canoes. And they fucking sink one.
Bring me back my canoes.
Okay, I don't care if you kids die, but if you don't bring back my fucking canoes, I may shut down this stupid ass fucking camp.
Your parents will get mad if one of you comes back
I
pregnant.
will charge
so don't
your fucking
pregnant.
parents for the canoe.
Oy.
Do not sink my canoe in the fucking
I'm going to go visit my brother at Camp Arawak. When I get back.
And then Todd tells him about the time that he almost murdered some guy around the campfire, as you do. Because that's where
he traumatizes those poor kids.
Those kids, though, are hilarious. I'm like, they just acted like they just solved a murder. Why are they in such a jubilant mood right now that they've heard a scary story and all is well? I'm like, this is a really weird scene because it feels like it's one of those classic 80s, like, all is well that ends well scenes, right?
Yeah,
but it's in the middle of a fucking movie and nothing has been resolved yet.
They have that weird music you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like when they have the, like, and he could be here. And then, Eddie or whatever comes out and he's like,
that music.
Eddie, you asshole. Like, and everyone, like, I think Glazer, like, I think he went bald a little bit more. And it was like, you son of a bitch, you scared the shit out of me. And so, and then the movies are like,
yeah, and I'm like why
80s, like,
is this here?
Sitcom-y kind of like, everything's great now, but you're all gonna fucking die.
And then Eddie takes Sally to the lake. Or Karen. No, it's Sally.
Yeah, it was Karen.
No, Sally's the blonde
Sally's
one.
with Glazer.
We said we were going to stop her from remembering the names. Anyway. Karen, and tries to rape her at the lake.
No,
and then,
okay, what?
And then when she says, no, I don't want to be just another statistic.
Okay, so all right, let's finish that scene, but then I want to go back and talk about Cropsy a little bit more, right?
Okay.
So, we get to the Eddie Lake scene or whatever. And I'm like, these horrible like day for night shots. Like,
yes,
they're so fucking bad.
You can clearly tell.
Like
that it's
these
daytime.
were so fucking bad. Like there was a clearing in the trees. I'm like, that's a fucking cloud up there.
Yep.
Like you can see the sky, and there's a cloud right there.
Can see it.
So he's like, okay, the statistic line, and then I thought it was funny. He's like, okay, let's just be friends. All right, let's take a. What, friends don't go skinny dipping in the make out?
Just go swimming real fast.
Come on. No,
and then she's like, you promise you're not going to do anything? And he's like, yeah, I promise.
Scouts on her, baby.
And then she gets in the water and he starts coming onto her.
Whoa. No. She starts getting naked to get in the water. I'm like, why is your sock inside out? That's fucking gross. Because they haven't cleaned anything. They've been wearing the same shit.
Yes, they have.
They didn't bring anything. She turned her sock inside out when she's taking it off. And I'm like,
she didn't want it to be crunchy anymore.
Gross. At least wash it in the lake while you're in there, you know?
Well, anyway, Eddie's like, don't fight this rapage I'm about
Don't
to come.
fight it, baby.
It's literally a line he says to this bitch.
And then right after, she's like, when she pushes him off, he's like, well, then why'd you come out here then?
Yeah, you didn't want to get raped. Why'd you come in this lake with me? Even after I promised I wasn't going to rape you. How dare you, woman?
What, you thought I was serious?
You know I can't control myself. I'm just a dude.
Come on, man. Well, fuck you then.
And then, so he gets woken up the next day in a
No,
very
no, no.
rude manner. Oh, you want to
Before
talk about
that-
Cropsy? Yeah.
No, before that, she gets out and it's like, Cropsy hid your clothes.
Still a leprechaun now?
He is. Well, his only part of his mouth works, so you can only let little
okay.
bits out.
That's
So it's
fair.
like, hello,
That's fair.
Cropsy now.
Got it.
And he's British, apparently. So, okay, yes, I do want to go back to Cropsy a little bit because I'm like, all right, they have the campfire story, right? And he's like, this guy was a real evil bastard. I'm like, what was his? Why? Because he was a drunk. Because he had to deal
he
with your
says he
shits.
went after kids, and he's like, one kid
Okay.
he went after just too hard.
like too hard. Like, will you please pick up after yourself? Oh my God. Yeah, that's what it
Well,
was.
they
So
were a
these-
bunch of white kids.
these
They've
fucking
never known
entitled-ass
oppression.
kids,
So
right? And
Well,
where did they get this
entitled
random skull in the potato box in the beginning? Did you even talk
don't know.
about this, man?
Paul,
Like,
there's no
Jesus.
rhyme or
All right.
reason.
So
for
anyway,
things.
okay. So once we hear the fucking campfire story that night, we hear it's at a camp not too far from here.
Right across the lake.
Yeah. So it's not the same camp because we've established Stonewater, Blackfoot, whatever, right? Why the fuck is Cropsy there to begin with? Like, so
Nobody knows.
So, okay. He just went to the wrong fucking camp and just started killing fucking kids. Like, is this the camp that I don't know. It was 5
That's how
years ago.
angry
He was around this area. This
I
one
just-
looks good enough.
No. What is it? No. But then he had to follow all of them
did.
on the canoe trip
Yeah.
that took fucking forever.
I know. And even when, so they lose the canoes, and she was like,
Okay,
why don't we
wait
just
a minute.
walk back? And he's
Yeah.
like, it's thick forest out there.
So that either means that he had to canoe himself there,
Yep.
or he walked with his blurred vision and probably gimpy legs, right?
I mean, when
Yeah.
you're a crazy madman, you do crazy madman things.
Doesn't make any fucking. Yeah, he did the. He
Got
did
me
the.
somehow.
He did the. Is it Max Cady from Cape Fear, where he hid under the RV thing? Remember, Or the boat or whatever it was,
yeah.
the trailer. He
Maybe.
did that in the. He's the reason that the canoe pulled down. Actually.
Yep.
Just
So
pulled down.
Cropsy takes Karen after stealing all her clothes and murders her. And then, what's the guy's name?
Eddie.
Eddie. Yeah. Eddie gets
Eddie.
awoken
Eddie.
the next day, and they're like, where the fuck is Karen? And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, you knew where she was. And he's like, we had a fight. It was nothing serious. I just tried to rape her. Leave me
No,
alone.
I love that they're like, all right, Eddie, where's Karen? He's like, what is this, an interrogation? Like,
He's like, it should
I'm
be,
like-
motherfucker.
like really? Because like you went there really quick. Like, what's this interrogation? Not without my lawyer.
It's nothing
They're questioning
serious.
me, Dad.
Just tried to rape her in the lake. That's it.
Oh, I love that. Michelle was like, well, did things go too far? Because she told me she was afraid of you. Like, what do you mean too far? Like murder? Because you should just fucking ask him if you're gonna ask him,
Right? Like, I don't know. Did things go too far? Yes, he already tried to rape her.
She told me she was afraid to be alone with you, and then you left her alone
Right?
with her.
No, and then he's like, then why'd she come out with me? And Todd goes, because she likes you. I'm like, nope, because she was scared, and so she went with you.
Because she
Nothing
likes
to
you,
do.
dumbass.
Nothing to do with why she does not like you. She's scared of you.
No, it wasn't. You cornered her after the fucking fire.
And then you tried to rape her, and then you got mad at her for leaving.
Because I thought she liked me.
Like, this movie is fucking bananas.
So fucking confusing.
Ay.
And then so then fucking Tiger and I don't know, Rhoda, let's just say, come over like the canoes are gone.
They're missing. We don't know what happened.
The fuck are we gonna do?
So they build a
God
raft.
damn it, Tiger! Shut the fuck up.
They get their Eagle Scout badges really fast and build
Yeah,
a
no.
fucking raft.
Todd, in his quest to become a better man after almost murdering someone, learned how
A
to make
better
a
camp
raft.
counselor.
It's like, I will succeed where others have failed. Camp turned me around into a better person.
After I killed a man.
Yeah. After I attempted murdered.
And he has a whole $92 hospital bill. I feel bad for that.
Yeah.
Oh, when we get so the canoe scene when Cropsy jumps up, right? I take so much umbrage with that scene, and it's the most unrealistic scene in the whole fucking movie. Have you ever stood up in a fucking canoe in the water?
Well, that was leaning against something. That had to have been leaning against something or something.
I don't care if
there
it's
was a
leaning.
log or
Standing up that fast in a canoe.
This is why you didn't see. Well, see
quick.
that's not what happened. It didn't show you. Like he lunged up just to see who it was, and he fell forward.
He
and
fell
then he's like,
and
"Oh
cut
shit! I'm like,
Sorry."
He had limited vision. All right. And he was like, "Oh shit!
He was taking a nap, and they scared him.
Yeah, I fell out. He's like, well, hey, he was in a hospital for 5 fucking years, and every 10 minutes you got some fucking asshole orderly trying to bring new doctors in there, so you puke on the floor for him. So yeah, he's a light fucking sleeper.
And Cropsy needs a pair of shades, man. Sunlight can't be good for that exposed eyeball all the time.
No.
Well, that skin's already dead.
He needs some fucking shades.
Well, you don't know. He could have been, covering his face up. But yeah, that's what happened. He just woke him up, and he stood up too fast, fell over onto the raft, accidentally, shoved the garden shears or whatever straight into Eddie's neck. Like, oh shit, I'm sorry.
Like, whoops.
And then he turned around too fast and nicked that other chick in the forehead. And then, Woodstock was just annoying. So I'm going to cut your fucking fingers off, man.
Cut his fingers off.
And while this is going on, Alfred the Peeper is still a peeper. He's out watching other people.
Yes, because we have, at that point, Glazer and Sally, right?
Yep.
They're out, and he's like, come on, let me just put it in you, babe. She's like, no, get off of me, get off of me. And up until the point where she's like, all right, maybe later if you'll just leave me the fuck alone.
Right? Leave me alone.
Please. What'd you say, babe? Nothing. No, I thought
Nothing.
just looking for... I love when they have their meetup at where the canoes were docked or whatever, and they're like, "All right, guys, like we don't know what happened. Karen left, the canoes are missing." And I love immediately. He's like, "It was Harvey, man. Alfred. It was Alfred, man.
That dude, just look at him. He's always looking at me.
He keeps looking at me all weird and shit." Aren't you 45? What? Why is he always saying weird shit like that? I thought you were Sally's dad. I thought that's why you got so mad at me about the whole peeping thing, because you were Sally's dad. 'Cause I thought it was weird that Sally would bring her dad to camp. So yeah, it's like, all right, let's all go look for some wood, Sally. I know where some is. Maybe later is what she told him.
And then they have sex dinner.
Yeah, when she was like, maybe later, he's like, oh, it's gonna be real good, baby, I promise.
And ladies, if they preface that. If they preface sex with "it's gonna be real good," just know you're about to be disappointed.
It's gonna
be real disappointed.
All right, in Glazer's defense, he's 45 years old, all right, and maybe things don't work like they used to.
You got to talk it up. Chances are it's not gonna
okay.
be well.
All right. Which is better then? Which is better than like okay, just I guess nothing to say is better because I'm like it's gonna be real mediocre, all right.
Yeah, you just say, it'll be nice.
One of us will have a good time.
It'll be a nice experience.
Could be you, could be me. I don't know.
You're doing a lot of voices in this one.
Well, there's a lot of accents in this fucking movie.
You're doing a lot of stand-up over here.
I'm doing stand-up over here?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, so let's get to the raft scene. That's the one thing, like I said, prior to that, you'd really only seen him kill 2 people.
Yeah.
And now, even though he finally, okay, this is the thing I've been waiting for. Him to kill a whole bunch of people, and he finally does. I'm like, okay, now this is getting better because he's actually starting to kill people. Because up until that point, like you said, it was just a weird story because it's like you're building towards all of this. I'm like, this guy's got to start killing some people sooner or later. Like, how can you call this movie a slasher when you've only had so far 2 kills, and now you have this scene? I'm like, okay, now it's going to get good because you just start offing all these fucking kids.
Okay, and he's killing random fucking kids. Because like how he established, like, it's not the place that he was. Like, he was there and followed them to this new camp and all that other shit. Wasn't it some stupid, like, Devil's Canyon?
It was Devil's Creek or some shit like that.
All right. So, yeah, and I'm like, what? So you got rid of the canoes, which even by the end of the movie, we have no fucking clue what happened to them. And you hid out, like, down the river, hopes that they would see you
no
and all
consistency.
That? Like, what?
No. Okay, so when Glazer gets it by Cropsy, when Sally, Alfred actually sees all of that, right? And he tries to take Todd back over there.
So then Cropsy had to fucking canoe back to kill everybody.
Yeah. So
with the raft, or was he by himself?
it was no. He had to have a canoe at that point. Maybe he did take the raft. Who knows?
Oh, no, okay, that was the night before, right? Two Pump Chumpin' Sally, and then he, what was it? Harvey watches the whole time. And
No.
he's like, yeah.
No.
I thought Harvey was watching the whole time.
No.
That was later.
Yeah, he watched them. He spied on them.
Oh,
He
yeah,
didn't
no.
watch them. He didn't watch them have sex.
It was after they
Glazer
had sex.
goes back to camp to get some stuff to warm up Sally because he didn't do anything to warm her up.
Yeah, he didn't warm me up.
And that's when Alfred goes to spy on him, and then he sees Cropsy take out Glazer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
kills him,
yeah,
and
he
then
comes
he
back
kills-
and he's like, Todd, Glazer's dead, Sally's dead, blah blah blah, and then so they run away, basically.
Well, the one thing he yells at him, he's like, "You can't be saying that," and he's like, "I can prove it to you. Follow me." And that's where it's like, "All right, I guess I gotta go follow you because you're saying these people are dead."
Yeah, and then
And because,
Alfred and Cropsy. Well, Alfred runs away after Cropsy takes Todd down by hitting him in the head, and then they run. But anyway,
I thought it was funny when Glazer gets back and he's just looking at Sally first after Cropsy had already killed her, and he's like, he pulls the sleeping bag down a little bit. And he's like, I'm like, what if he just thought she was asleep? Like he was just that stupid. He's like, oh, you sleep, babe, and like he puts the fire. He's like, oh, he starts like snuggling up with her or whatever, and he's like, you really are cold, and he just passes out, and then he wakes up the next morning and is like, you sick fuck, like what'd you do? Like you would have just blamed him. Cropsy could have gone away. See?
yeah. See again,
Perfect.
this movie doesn't need to be any weirder than it already is.
I'll warm you up.
So the
Trying to make it
next
better.
morning, the scene where they find the raft, right? So the raft,
Yeah.
either Cropsy brought it back to kill more of the people, or the raft just returns magically back to the same spot. Either way, the remaining campers, find the raft full of dead people.
After Todd got
Well, it was
nicked
funny when
by
they-
Cropsy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he passed out the
Well,
whole
it was
night.
funny-
Yeah.
Well, it was funny to me when they saw the raft. They're like, "Oh, they're just playing around. They're playing a prank." And then what is it? Michelle, when she swings out to him, and then she freaks out because she sees the dead bodies, and just everybody starts screaming, everybody starts crying.
No, the most ridiculous things happens. They go red. They red out the whole
Yeah.
fucking screen.
It's too
Oh,
much
yeah.
for
to
no
handle.
reason,
No,
and then you
Yeah,
cut
that's what it
you cut to children crying.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
They were sitting there, and it was like good bed kids crying. Like Tiger was in the fetal position, holding that other chick's like big purple
And then
overalls.
yeah, and
he's
then
like,
immediately it's almost like a meanwhile
Yeah.
later you cut to Alfred still running through the woods. He's been running all night. Alfred the Peopler has not lost Cropsy through this whole fucking wood time. Cropsy is still
Yeah, he
hot
must-
on
he-
Alfred's
got some
tail.
cardio.
He ran all night apparently. Yeah. Oh no, I wrote
He's
down
got
because I'm like,
cardio.
it's the kids are crying, and it shows everything after we come back from the red and all that, and it's like, all right, well, let's all get on the raft now because we're gonna die. Like, so help me
Yeah.
clean off the dead bodies and throw everything in the lake so we can get on the fucking raft and get the fuck out of here. Sorry, kids, your friends are dead.
Was it the raft that they got in? I thought they got a canoe.
No, they had the bloody
same
raft.
They had the same
Okay,
raft
that's what it was.
because they were like, because fucking Tiger was like, I can't paddle, I'm so tired. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Tiger.
Shut up, Tiger.
You want to die, bitch? It's so
That's
really,
what she had to tell her.
I'm only 9
then
years
what is
old.
It's just like you guys can do
And
it.
that's
It's
one
from
thing that
within.
And what's the face? Jason Alexander kind of yelled at her too. It was like, "Oh, we got to keep paddling because we don't want to die either."
We do this or we die, basically.
Basically.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
like,
much.
I'm only 9 years old. You guys should have let me smoke so many fucking cigarettes.
And then we get
Like, if he wouldn't
these shots of Alfred the Peeper running through some weird ruins of another place that we're not sure.
Yeah, it was
why.
like it was ruins, then turned into like a mine or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was a weird
Again, no
mining
explanation.
building shack thing.
No explanation. And
Yeah.
the way they're focusing on Alfred the Peeper is you're supposed to want him to live, but at that point I was like, man, everybody can die. Don't give a shit.
Yeah, like, you kill this fucker.
Although I do say at the end of the film, we get the ultimate climax of the ultimate thing that makes no fucking sense. Cropsy gets a flamethrower.
You
He
know,
should be scared of that freaking fire.
He would be.
He
He
should
would
be.
you know,
He
because
should be.
there was just happened to be a flamethrower there at the old mine.
The old mine, you know.
Like, damn it, we closed the mine. We forgot our flamethrower. Fuck it.
I also love the scene where Cropsy is dodging the axe like it's a fucking Matrix. Like he's just dodging it out of the way. I'm like, you have a flamethrower, bitch. Like, use it.
You can't see very well, and you're dodging like easily.
I love when Todd's running around. He's like, Alfred, and like looking for him. Like all I could hear was Admiral Akbar. I'm like, it's a trap. And then you finally find. Okay, here's another thing that didn't make a fucking sense to us. Right? He's running around, right, and then Cropsy comes out with his flamethrower, and he's Todd's swinging the axe around, and then you see Alfred there on the wall, and he has those shears around his like left arm, like over his bicep, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like he takes his right arm and like pulls it out. I'm like, what the fuck have you been doing this whole time? If like, I thought he was tied up or something at first, because I'm like, wait, we had to go back. Because I'm like, nope, his arm's just free. Like he could have done that at any fucking point, like any fucking point, all right? Because at first I'm like, oh shit, like what do you do? Like if your hand's tied and the other one's under that, like do you just push the fucking shears with your bicep and hope for the best? Like you can like wiggle it free enough to where it won't completely cut your arm off or whatever. But no, it's just fucking his arm's just like, all right, well, I'm just going to take this off now and probably go help Todd because he looks like he's in trouble. He just wanted to be saved. He didn't have to do anything for it.
And then Alfred the Peeper saves the day by lighting poor Cropsy on fire yet again with his own flamethrower.
Which they didn't even need to.
Wait.
No.
Like, that's the thing.
Wait,
like,
we gotta go back just a little bit because when Cropsy hears what's his face Todd's name, it triggers him because that was one of the names that he remembers when that burned him. Remember?
Yeah,
that?
he gets the flashback of Are you ready, Todd? Are you ready, Billy and Snoop and all those guys? Like, he has that little flashback scene there.
But there's also flashbacks of the people he's murdered.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense as well. Because they're like, those weren't the same. It was his shitty vision. I'm telling you. Like he's like, wait. He thought the kids that he killed earlier were the ones from back then, from 5. Because it was only 5 fucking years ago. I mean, the kids might still be going to camp. Glazer's fucking 45, man.
Well, here's the thing that's weird. If he wanted to go back and get revenge on the kids that burned him, he knows it was a bunch of dudes, so why the hell was he killing the chicks? They had nothing to do with it.
I'm sorry. Did you want this movie to make sense?
Well, you have to kill the chicks because they're the center of Harvey Weinstein's anger, Saul.
Yeah.
But still, though, I'm not thinking about Harvey Weinstein's crap.
Okay, who do you think wrote this fucking thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
These were all his ideas.
I told you at the beginning of this podcast, this movie made no fucking sense. There was no cohesion in storytelling. There was nothing in this movie.
The whole scene where Harvey gets thrown into the water by Glazer, I'm like, this happened to you at camp, you little fucker. Like, this is what happened to you. Like, this is straight. Like, and then the counselor had to talk to you. Like, you did some shit at camp.
Yeah.
Like, you, like, I'm convinced of it, man. This is all him.
So, Paul, final thoughts.
Don't you final thoughts me.
Final thoughts.
Okay, first of all, I want to say that when you finally see Cropsy's face, he looked like Freddy Krueger's uncircumcised burnt penis, I want to say.
You know what he reminded me of?
Freddy's uncircumcised
You know the
penis.
Mad Monster logo?
Yeah. He kind of looked like that guy.
That's what it looked like to me. When I saw it for the first, I'm like, it looks like the Mad Monster logo. Because it has that weird deformed kind of face. I'm like, is it that? And when I looked at it, I was like, no, it's not that. But that's what it looked like to me. Was that?
Yeah, and okay, and it was Tom Savini, but I do want to say that I mentioned earlier that he was unhappy with the way that it looked, and they only gave him 3 days to make that whole fucking thing. So he just threw some shit together. Like, so they were like, just, you got 3 days.
Well, to his credit.
Yeah.
So
he
had 3 days to make the whole Cropsy look, and it's all he could do. I've read that he even says like, I wasn't happy with it, but I had no time.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
it does look kind of bad. I mean, it doesn't look great, but considering it was 3 days, it serves its purpose for the fucking movie.
Yeah, he did what he had to his credit.
So the ruins that they go to at the end, they were supposed to film the final scene in a cave, apparently. But they had 2 caves that they were going to use, but one apparently was full of bats, so they couldn't use it. And the other one apparently had collapsed in the time that they had scouted the location until when they were going to actually film. So that cave collapsed, and the other one was full of bats. So they were like, all right, well, I guess we found these ruins near this place, so they decided to do it there, I guess. All right, so final thoughts from me. This movie makes a lot of not sense, basically, and nonsense. I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's weird. There's definitely some shit in here. I'm like, yeah, like Harvey, you're crying for help in this fucking movie. Whatever parts you wrote, like you could see your stuff in there. All right, so It's a weird fucking movie. It doesn't make sense. I don't know if it would make sense more if you were high or drunk or anything, but I don't know. It's definitely worth a watch so you can say that you've seen it once. It is young Tom Savini. He turned down the role of Friday or the special effects job for Friday the 13th Part 2 to make this movie. I know he's talked about this one before. I don't remember how he feels about it, but it's definitely a weird movie. Watch it once just to say that you have. So you know, it's got a lot of great actors in their first role: Holly Hunter, Jason Alexander, Fisher Stevens, the other guy that plays Eddie. I don't know the fuck his name, but you've seen him in a million things. But watch it once. Don't expect a lot. Don't expect it to be great. It's definitely, even for 1981, kind of subpar for that time. So, but watch it once. Give it a look.
I'm gonna piggyback a lot of what Paul said. This movie makes. I mean, we've been clear that it makes no sense. It is worth a watch, like Paul said, just to say that you've watched it. So yeah, I really can't say much more than what Paul said. I just would piggyback off of everything that he said. It's just a weird movie. If you try to make sense of it, you're just gonna confuse yourself even more, because we couldn't really make a whole lot of sense of it. But yeah, it's like he said, watch it just to say that you've watched it, and pretty much that's all you can do with this movie.
I disagree with both of you. This movie could be deleted in its entirety and it wouldn't make one bit of difference. This movie is not a slash X. This movie makes zero sense. It has no right to be called a classic or a slash X. This movie, the guy killed 5 people. Tom Savini or Tom Savini not. That doesn't make this movie any better.
I'm not saying it makes the movie better.
Then it doesn't need to happen. You can watch Tom Savini's work and way better quality of work elsewhere where he had the time to do it. It doesn't matter that just because Tom Savini worked on this film, it's automatically a classic. No.
But that's probably why it's considered a classic.
Well,
I'm not saying this movie's good. I'm not saying this movie's good.
Well, then let me finish my final thoughts.
No, because you always cut me off at my final thoughts, so screw you.
No, this movie can be deleted in its entirety. You do not need to see it. You can see better work from Tom Savini elsewhere. Go watch Maniac. That's good Tom Savini work. Go watch
a good Tom Savini work.
Any other Tom Savini movie that you've heard about, and it's better than this one. The Burning is a burning pile of trash, and that's where it should stay.
Ouch.
That is my final thought.
Doesn't like.
This movie stinks.
Andrew, are you putting this on par with Jack Frost?
No, I think Jack Frost was a better movie than this movie. This movie's stupid.
Goodness. Who are you today? So in summation, I guess, me and Saul were like, it's not good, but watch it once. And Angie's basically, this movie is a burning pile of pubes.
Yes.
So,
Which bathroom floor pubes, apparently, that there are a lot of.
Which there were a lot of pubes in this movie, especially in just the one skinny dipping scene. Karen had them up.
Well,
all right.
Here's the one thing I do have to disagree with Angie about not watching this. Here's my thing. If I got to sit through a shitty movie that I did not like, I am not going to go through that suffering alone. You're going to go into that misery with me. So that's why I'm going to say, watch this movie. So if you do hate it, now you've gone through the unfortunate task of actually watching it.
Misery loves company. That's why you're telling people to watch it, so?
No, he's telling people that's the best way to watch this if you're gonna watch it.
Make other people watch it so you can be like, look at this shitty movie we're watching.
How many times have we watched shitty movies and we're like, God, this is so bad, and we have more fun making fun of the movie than we do actually watching the movie. This is not one of
those movies, though. Everything in this movie will be like, this hurts.
Yes, okay.
My brain.
So get high and watch the movie.
I disagree.
Even
high, I was like, no.
But still, misery loves company. If I gotta suffer through this movie, you're actually gonna watch it.
It's a movie for couples, is what he's saying.
This is not a movie for couples.
Yes.
No.
Both of you can watch it and hate it together. It brings you together. And
I guarantee you watch this with a female, she'd be like, what the fuck are these lines? What the fuck is this?
Yes, and you'll both hate it. That's what it is. Okay, watch.
That's the reason why you have to watch the movie.
No.
Watch this movie. If you're dating someone, watch this movie. And if they're on side, depending on what side they pick, you'll know if you've got a good person in your relationship or not. All right, this is very revealing about you.
I disagree. If a dude invited me over, no. Listen, if a dude invites me over to his house and it's like, hey, let's watch this movie by Harvey Weinstein, I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Okay, what if you didn't know though? Like we didn't know.
It's in the credits.
But I'm saying you didn't know going in.
Okay,
Neither
but if
did
the
I.
guy was like, we're going to watch this together, and then we sit down, and then that name comes up, I'm going to be like, nope, 2 points against you already.
Okay, but all of these movies have like 4 minutes of credits. So what if you're like, all right, let's put the credits on, we'll make popcorn, and by the time it's done, we get to the movie. You missed the whole credits.
No.
I'm saying it could happen.
No.
It could happen.
No.
It could happen.
No. You're painting these
It could
ridiculous
happen, Andy.
scenarios.
I'm not painting a ridiculous
Yes, you
scenario.
are.
This is
It is a ridiculous
Logical.
scenario. This
It's a
movie could go
plausible
in the
scenario.
dumpster and it wouldn't make one bit of difference. There is
The
nothing
burning
about
cube
this
dumpster?
movie that makes it any kind of classic. It's not notable for any reason. These themes are in
say watch
everything
it
else.
once.
You can watch other movies that are way more coherent and have a better execution of everything in this film.
There are way better
You
movies.
still have to watch this movie.
Nope, disagree.
I agree
Yes.
with Paul. There are a lot better movies, but you still have to watch this movie. If I gotta
Okay,
watch this
there's
movie,
one
you're gonna
reason
watch
you
it.
should
You
watch.
are entitled
There is
to
one
your
reason
own
you should
wrong
watch this movie.
opinion, okay?
There is one reason you should watch this movie.
There's zero reasons
There's one
to watch
reason
this
for watch this
movie.
movie, and I think even you might agree.
I don't know.
There's one reason to watch this movie. Holly Hunter.
Nope.
Yes.
You barely see the side of her face. You won't miss
You
her.
see her the whole movie.
You'll miss her.
Hers is the canoe that falls in the water. She's on the shore with all the other girls. She's
No, you know what? There is
yes.
one reason and one reason only to see this movie. If you've never seen Jason Alexander with a full head of hair,
There you go.
put this movie on for 3.5 seconds to see that and then turn it off immediately.
Okay, we've already established there's at least 4 or 5 minutes of credits, so you need to watch
No.
you need to watch like 40 minutes of this movie just
Nope.
to get to.
You
Jason
fast forward
Alexander.
it to Jason Alexander because he's only killing one person in that time. You're only missing one death anyway. This movie is trash. Could go in the trash. Throw this movie away. That's it for this week. That wraps up this movie for this week. We're coming back to you guys next week with
Dying on
the
this
Green
one.
Inferno.
Is it horrible? Is that what you're saying?
It is horrible.
Is it borderline horrible? Are we giving that stamp to this one? Is it 2?
Well, you guys seem to think that it's okay to watch, so it's not horrible
Okay,
unless
which
we're
is-
all
I'll tell you.
aligned.
Which
that
is
it's not
worse?
worthy.
Which is worse then, this or Evil Bong?
Thinking. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time on that.
I don't know. It's going to take me way too long to think about that. But anyway, our next episode will be on Eli Roth's Green Inferno. And
Ooh, I'm looking forward to this one again.
I have never seen it, and Paul has never seen it. Paul and I have both seen Cannibal
have.
Holocaust, which it is about, or which
I
it is
have.
on.
Yes,
It's
I have seen this movie, and I can't wait till we record the episode for it because I'm curious to see what your guys' take on it is.
Have you seen Cannibal Holocaust, Saul?
Yes, I have.
How do
We
the
saw.
how do the two
we saw
compare?
Cannibal-
Just how about that? How do the two compare? Which is better? Because if
Cannibal
you're wrong, I'm
Holocaust.
going to make fun of you about it.
Cannibal
No,
Holocaust.
Cannibal Holocaust is better.
Okay.
It borrows a lot. It borrows things from it, and that's why I think Eli Roth did it. Is he just borrowed certain things from it? I don't want to give away too much because I'm interested to see what you guys think of it. I liked it,
All right.
and
well,
we'll see if you and we'll see what if you guys like why I liked it.
all right. Well, we'll see soon. We're going to even watch soon and record that episode. So
Yep. So if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, you guys can email us at podcast@scarynerd.com. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can check out more horror entertainment news at scarynerd.com. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/scarynerd. And we will be back with Green Inferno next week. And
Bye, everyone.
Bye. We'll see you next week.
goodbye.